Underdog Daily with Badge Bros, John, and just John, an OG Rotorun solo run today. Hopefully, you guys got some daytime diamonds in there. We got 2 live baseball games right now. Our fearless leader of the draft games, Numi, is attending one of them. Nez is listed with the out tag today on fatherly parental duties, but he is questionable for tomorrow. So we will see there. Hopefully, we can get something going with our guy tomorrow. But man, the community just continues to get it done. It is truly sick. I will walk through the results of last night, but the leaderboard is littered with the Deposit Kingdom. It is wild to see Badge Brigade taking over on the platform of the people here. Honestly, it makes me just as happy to see your guys' names there as it is seeing minor Nez's. Honest to God, like it is great to see, and I love that people are getting something out of us showing up every single day here. Looking at the NBA stuff, obviously we're gonna do it all today because we got short slates all over the place. The morning daytime diamond was a 2 gamer. The main slate is also a 2 gamer, a very choose your own adventure slate for both baseball and NBA today. NBA is a 6 gamer. We're going to do the full unabated walkthrough there. We have all the injury reports now, so we have all the information to work off of there. And then, you know what? I'm going to throw the puck guys a bone here. I'm going to throw the puck guys a bone. I haven't looked at the slate yet, but it is a 9 gamer. I see a contest up in the lobbies. We will close today with the puck guys getting in those lobbies, but we got to start first with where we always start. That is last night. Man, Anthony Davis, you love to see it. He left with a laceration, comes back and just hoops the F out in the second half of that ball game. Cover boy from yesterday, Anthony Davis getting it done. Love how the Russell Westbrook stuff aged. We talked about it on the show a lot there. Nez talked about SGA over Joker there. That one got home in a big way for people. DeMar DeRozan was popping in the hashtag models from Unabated. So hat tip to them on that one. And then our guy, Nick, he goes all the way scrolling the F down to why is Chet getting undrafted? He says, let's swap him in for Jamal Murray there. Awesome to see New Jersey Nick getting it done. He has been killing it in the NBA streets. It was primarily the single entry and the high dollar contest prior to this. So glad to see it spill over and reap the benefits in the main, because this is a byproduct of cumulative knowledge of NBA season right here, where it's like, I know just talking to Nick and talking in the Discord, for a guy who knows hoops so well, and he took a little bit of a beating at the beginning of the year here, and then the consistency and persistence for him to just keep grinding, and now he's on an absolute teared heater at the end of the season here. So mad respect to New Jersey Nick. Love to see it. And then my guy, JT McKenzie, litters the leaderboard all up here as well. And then he trades spots with Nick a few times down here. These guys peppered the leaderboard. They were all over it. They were all over the Russell Westbrook stuff. They were all over the Anthony Davis stuff. So big shouts to you guys. And then my guy, who I affectionately call Miso Tuna, the Miso and Tunya. I believe it's a national park. I believe that's what it's a reference to here. He gets 2 in the top 5, or in the top 5 as well there. Just the guys up here. Brody's up here. Buster Boys doing his thing. Man, love it. Love it so much. Warren asking about the Discord. The Discord is within Pete Overzet's Deposit Kingdom, and there's a link in the bio below. Yeah, Nick came on in the show yesterday and was like, it is a Russ night for sure. And it sure was. Yeah. Just a guy chiming in saying back from a 10-day cruise. Love it, man. Hope you had a nice vacay there. Yeah, weird to not be able to draft though. I do know that feeling from going to Hawaii a couple times where it's like, oh man, what the hell? This is not what I'm accustomed to. Yeah, but you found your way right back up to the top of the leaderboard upon returning. So Mad shouts to you. I got 40 in there. Really happy with the way I played. Westbrook as my highest exposed, Anthony Davis as second. Got the Castle stuff. Then I kind of ate the bad falling knives there in Mark Dub and Pascal. So that wasn't great. And then was high on DeRozan, liked it. Took a lot of Jaylen Brown in the last round there. Thought it was a good spot. He looked like he was going to matter for a little bit. Got over on the Sabonis stuff. So directionally accurate. Can't be upset with how I played there. Yeah, fun slate in the hoops. And then we will look at the MLB stuff because I know there is one member of the chat and the community in particular who is really wanting me to get out here. Welcome back to the platform, Travis. Travioli, love to see it here. Zach Gallen with a electric night last night in the Bronx there. If you guys paid attention to the show, we were talking about right-handed power on Arizona. Right-handed power on Arizona looked like it was going to break the slate and then didn't end up mattering because the late night hammer Dodgers scroll the F down outfielder options. We talked about Conforto yesterday on the show, how if Freddie Freeman wasn't going to be available, that he was going to slide right in to that 4-hole and hit behind Teoscar. He goes yard. Tommy Edmonds goes yard. Ohtani walks it off with a bomb. He gets a nice little mini stack in here of the Phillies that was contrarian because it didn't involve Harper's 0 there. And then high scoring pitcher on the slate was not the number 1 drafted pitcher. It was Zach Gallen. So he gets there. So love it. Mad respect. Good little leverage point here in doubling down on you thinking that the highest scoring game is or high scoring teams on the slate are going to be Philly and the Dodgers. Good double down notion to be like, okay, I'll take pitching from the other game environment because it's suppressing those offenses. So well done. Good to see there. We see Jump Free up here as well. We see the M Nesbitt. I don't know. Is that Mellow? Is that Mellow Nesbitt in there getting his drafting chops early in life? Oh man. Yeah. Just a guy dropping through to drop off 5 Badge Bros memberships. Love it so much. Send some love Alan's way if you happen to be a recipient of that one there. Toying with a paywall show either tomorrow or Saturday because I have the weekend to myself. So there might be a little weekend content here. If not, you will make good on those memberships next week with a minimum of 2 paywall shows for everybody. I know some of you guys are probably watching Pete and Davis and stuff right now and are slowly trickling in right now. So hopefully when you guys roll through and see that you are the recipient of a membership, give a shout out to Alan there. All right, let's talk about the slates today. Obviously, we're going to start with the NBA stuff. Just, a little more fun to talk a 6-gamer than a 2-gamer. So let's start with NBA. Go to the ranking stuff. As I alluded before, we just got official injury reports from everyone. We were waiting for back-to back. Oh, that's not true. My bad. Heat have not officially submitted yet. We saw it roll through on Unabated, but the Heat have not officially submitted. So that will be there in 20 minutes time. But all the alerts rolled through via Unabated and Underdog there that Duncan Robinson's a Q tag, Haywood Highsmith's a Q tag, and Terry Rozier started as a Q tag, but has now been ruled out for today. So we'll walk through that rotation and what that could look like. So we have everything. We have all the pieces of the puzzle right now, with the exception of a couple Q tags on the slate. And the most noteworthy being Scotty Bolway, aka Scotty Barnes, who's going in the back end 4th, sometimes early 5th right now. Minutes have been down in general. He missed last. He didn't miss last game. It was RJ Barrett who missed last game, but RJ is already in for this evening. Jakob Poeltl has already been ruled out for this one. As you guys can see, though, with the quiet tanking and the soft minutes cap, do we even want to get to Scotty Barnes tonight? This is going to be the classic balancing act of, do you want 25 minutes or 27 minutes of RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes without Jakob Pertl and IQ? Or do you want the potential, ceiling shot of a scroll the F down Washington piece who could have 31, 33 minutes, the Alex Sars of the world, who's going to be pushing up now with Jordan Poole and other parts being ruled out there? Or do you want to, go with the Klingon route on the other side of that game in hopes that, maybe Simons misses and we know the backup fives are already out there? So it's going to be a balancing act of high profile players and minutes like stability here. And parsing through these rotations is going to be pretty pretty important. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna battle through that one. Just saw another note roll through. Jalen Brunson expected to be questionable Saturday. So file that one away. That we're getting a really early reporting of that for Saturday's slate. All right. Bear with me, guys. The voice is slowly coming back. We did not fully sweat out the cold last night on the ice, although I am happy to report that the boys are moving on in the postseason here. So, yeah, we're moving on. That's all that matters, right? We're moving on in the postseason here. Your boy had a decent night out there. Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Scotty Barnes, even if he is in, I'm not going to have a ton tonight. That's how I'm treating it. I prefer the Portland side of that game. I honestly, I prefer just taking Anthony Simons Q tag and flipping it there, because if at least we get Simons, we're going to get full Simons. And it was like a minor injury on the forearm. So I think we would get close to full Simons this evening. And these games obviously matter in terms of standings for Portland for that, back end play in stuff in the Western Conference there. They are, still fighting with potentially getting in for the Kings. And, they're 5-5 in their last 10. They won their last game there. I mean, I wouldn't turn the light off on them. And I do think they're playing some decent basketball right now. So I do think they do want to persist and go for that. And a big part of that would be extending their starters, right? So I like the minutes potential of Simons more than that. And then I'll double down on the notion that if we don't get Simons tonight, there is the cleanest swap on planet Earth to get to Delano Banton. Nobody's drafting Delano Banton right now, and rightfully so, because it is very hingent upon Simons. But if we get no Simons tonight, you can just clean ass swap that to Delano Banton starting this evening. And, 28 minutes last time out, 37 fantasy points. He didn't end up mattering on that slate because there were two 90 burgers on the slate and a bunch of 60 balls. So on a normal slate, he definitely would have mattered, and we would have been focusing more attention on it by proxy on this slate. But yeah, I just think like the swappability of that is I'm totally fine with Simons at ADP, 23, 24. And then if he plays, and then if he doesn't go, I get a clean swap to Delano Banton. So that's where I'm at on that one. Yeah, here's a separate conversation with Portland just in general that Denny is him. Yeah, Denny is him right now. Denny is him in a big way. That trade is aging quite gracefully. Some of the other ones to talk through. Jordan Poole, I got to give this a refresh. Jordan Poole has already been ruled out there. So what is the push-pull dynamic with Washington this evening? They do, as you guys can see, all the out tags for all these guys. We'll go through the injury report in half a second. I'm counting 9, 10. If Holmes and Gill, or sorry, if Holmes and or Gill play through the D tag or the Q tag, I count 10. Yeah. So, I mean, Sar is going to project well, and he's going to be a big time riser, and that ADP is fake. The minutes for Bub Carrington are probably the safest of the next grouping. Colby Jones, who was not available last time out, has been listed available for today. So we talked about that yesterday with the push-pull dynamic of whether Jordan Poole was more or less playable because the minutes became safer if Colby Jones wasn't active. So Colby Jones active today. So, non-zero chance that he could start at the 1. Although I probably think he plays off the bench. Um, I think it'd probably be Carrington, AJ Johnson, Champagne, and Sarr, and then one of Jones or Martin. And then Marcus Smart will have kind of like a soft minutes cap. So he's like probably yeah. Yeah. Um Ricky Lee asking in the chat, isn't Colby still down on the G League? No, he's been listed available for this evening. He's been brought back up, and he's playing this evening. So there's something to have there. Um. Okay, playing catch up on the chat right here. We'll get to Orlando. I mean, yeah, we'll get to Orlando here. We saw Cole Anthony come back and play 19 minutes there. So yeah, as far as Orlando, to just answer it in short, I'm only playing the 2 studs on our site at least. Um yeah, so there's going to be minutes to go around on the Washington side in a big way. Obviously, it's paced down. Obviously, it's a bad spot against Orlando just in general. That being said, I think you can get to it because there's definitely, some guys with decent rates who could expand their minutes. That being Champagne and Vucevic in general, right? Those would probably be like the first 2 that I'd look to scroll the F down to. Okay. Any other Q tags that I was thinking about this morning? The Simons push pull, the Kuminga Q as well. He left with I believe it was a hip. It was a hip, right? Pelvis. It's listed as pelvis. Yeah. Yeah, he went out early in that Spurs game, then missed the Memphis game on the road trip. I don't really know what to expect from the Warriors rotation in general at the best of times. That being said, I mean, Kuminga's going to play off the bench even if he does go, and I do think there's just other better bets for minutes when like the Warriors are so full. Like they are going to have, they're going to run probably 10 or 11 tonight if Kuminga's back, even though this is a pretty important game with a tight spread for the Western Conference seeding there. I mean, the Warriors are only 2 games back on the Lakers right now. So this head-to-head could do a lot for them to kind of flipping the Western Conference there. So expecting a lot of full run from everybody this evening in that game, but that usually just leads to condensed rotations and more minutes for the starters, which doesn't bode well for a guy coming back from a Q tag there when they've been doing the Moses Moody thing to start anyways in recent memory. So yeah, I'm probably just off Kuminga in general today. All right, let's hop on over to Unabated. I will keep my eyes on the news stuff as it trickles in here if anything is changing. I know people have their Windhursts up for a potential Giannis with the P tag situation here, given the fact that it's Philadelphia, given the fact that Philadelphia's lost 9 in a row, given the fact that Philadelphia just ruled out Maxey for the remainder of the season there. Yeah, I do think people are a little skittish on the Giannis stuff. That being said, in terms of like what's going to project the best and who's the best play on the slate today, I think it's Giannis by like a landslide. And I don't think we should get out over our skis in terms of this thinking about the Bucks stuff there. Teams on the back end back to back, just kind of like as I hop over to Unabated here. Teams on the back end back to back are Washington and Miami. They've both already filed there. Miami had Memphis last night at home, and Washington had Orlando at home that's tonight. Last night was Washington had the Kings at home, and where my Heat at? Heat were on the road for that Boston game. So Miami travels home, Washington stays at home, Orlando goes to Washington, Memphis comes to Miami as Miami travels back home. So those are the two back end teams. The front end teams are the Lakers, the Blazers, and the Warriors. So that late night hammer between the Warriors and the Lakers, it is a front end back to back for both teams. Warriors get the Nuggets at home tomorrow, and Lakers get the Pels at home tomorrow. So short travel for all parties, but just noteworthy there that deep in the game, someone could wave the white flag. The other one, those were the three. Portland was the other one there. Goes to Chicago tomorrow. The other one is Toronto gets Detroit at home. So there's 4 front end back to backs. So there might be a little push pull dynamic here with Scotty Barnes here playing one of them or not playing the other one, or RJ plays tonight and then IQ and Pirtle play tomorrow, who have already been listed as out. So just be mindful of that for tomorrow's sake there when you guys start drafting tonight. All right. Magic are 15.5 point favorites in what would be a pace up spot for them, but obviously pace down for the Wizards. They are 2 of the worst pace games on the slate. This one and that Nets and T-Wolves game. This is a 212.5 and Magic 15.5. I mean, we don't play for blowout run, but it's got to be in the back of your mind that extended minutes for, a guy like Cole Anthony, who has been dealing with this toe for like 5-6 games now, and now is just coming back and just getting worked up. In a spot where they're 15.5 point favorites, that methinks he's not going to get extended burn. I mean, the Magic are still in theory fighting to get above that play-in tournament line, but they're almost effectively locked in the 7 or 8 seed there, unless the Bucks just go on a terrible run over the next week and a half there. So, can the Stars do enough in a faster paced game at the front end, and or can the Wizards do enough to keep this game close so that the Stars matter? That's kind of the push pull that we're dealing with here. As far as the Magic are concerned, G Leaguers listed as out, and then Suggs and Mo Wagner, who've been listed out for ever now. On the Wizards side, this is a loaded one. They're going to be without Poole, Middleton, Kispert. Holmes is doubtful. Gill is questionable. Keyshawn George, Bilal Coulibaly, Malcolm Brogdon, and Sadiq Bey all listed as out this evening. So I think Star is going to be a big riser and project better than his current ADP. That's like my number one takeaway. The Magic side, it's Franz and Paulo, and that's it. If you want to get like Galbrain with some scroll the F down, like Cole Anthony or Anthony Black in the last round there, because you think they're going to get a little more run against a bad team, I'd probably stay clear of the Cole Anthony one. That being said, he could draw back into the starting lineup this evening, but I would anticipate him still having a cap. So, Wendell Carter Jr. or Anthony Black would be like your only 2 scrolls, and I'm not going there tonight. You just don't have to. I would rather go to the Washington side for some scrolls. So, in terms of the scrolls on the Washington side, Tristan Vucevic, good from a rate standpoint. If he starts, I want some of that. If Colby Jones starts, I'll want some of that. I don't think he'll start. I think it'll probably be Bub and AJ Johnson that are starting there. Justin Champagne is probably my favorite of the scroll the F downs right now. I've selected him once or twice there. But this is a pretty gross game with the lowest total and a fat spread here. But someone on the Wizards side is going to have to play a whole lot of minutes this evening. They did soft cap Star last night and Poole at like 27 and 24. Just mindful of that. All right. Next game on the slate, Bucks 76ers, 228.5. Bucks are 11.5 point favorites in this one. Giannis is the best play on the slate by a lot, in my opinion. I will take him over Luka every single time. Despite that probable tag, I know people want to, um, you know, wish cast some funny business on that one. And there's a non-zero chance. If there was ever a spot for funny business, it would probably come against a 76ers team that has 10 bodies on it, 11 bodies. If they get Colin Castleton, who they signed today, in there, and then they manage the contracts of Jeff Doughton and Jalen Hood-Schifino. So there could be, 10 available. Looks like Yabu's going to play tonight. Yabo did his tweet out thing, a la um, um, Donovan Mitchell there with his version of the let him know on the Instagram. So I expect Yabu to come back and Yabu to start. Now the question is, does Bona start alongside him this evening, and they play a little bit bigger with Brook Lopez and Giannis on the other side? I think so. And Bona's been playing some decent basketball recently there. You guys can look up his box scores there. He's definitely worth a dart in the last round here. Obviously a tough matchup for bigs with Giannis and Brook Lopez in there. But 31 minutes, 26, 29. The rebounds were all there when Yabu was out there. So some of that corresponds. There's a little bit of push-pull with Yabu being in versus out in terms of his, production there. But yeah, I think he's still worth a dart in the last round. They started Ricky Council last time, and then he was getting absolutely cooked and was like a dash 15 in the first half there. So they went elsewhere, and they went to, who did they start in the second half? Jared Butler. So they went back to Butler, and Butler had been starting before there. So yeah, I mean, I think in terms of minutes, it's going to be Grimes, Bona, Yabu, and then probably Lonnie Walker, and then like Justin Edwards and or Jared Butler. I think probably the lean goes to Edwards there. So yeah, I mean, in terms of scroll the F downs in this game and like pieces you want to get to, I think as of right now for me, it'll be Grimes in the second round. Obviously, like that's just like the one play from this game. And then I will have a little bit of Bona, a little bit of Butler, and a little bit of Lonnie Walker. That's kind of where I'll cap it at. And then on the Bucks side, I'm not in love with Kuzma's ADP today, as you guys can see. When we look up the Bucks, like Kuzma's going almost every single time here with this 25. And it kind of just feels like you're just buying these minutes, right? You're just buying these 26, 27, or I mean, 36, 37, 35, 37 there. Yeah, expecting Ryan Rollins to start here. It'll be interesting to see who closes between him and Kevin Porter Jr., because that's been a big push-pull dynamic in terms of like who ends up closing ends up being the better fantasy asset of that day. But yeah, I mean, unless you're just playing for Giannis out or you're playing for like garbage time run there, I don't really see how we can get to Rollins today or Kevin Porter Jr. But famous last words, because Kevin Porter Jr. can nuke a slate when he falls into minutes. And if Giannis goes crazy in like the front end of a game, maybe like a 6th round tack on of Kevin Porter Jr. to close out that game isn't the most gal brain thing in the world. So yeah, might be mixing that one in once or twice. Sorry guys, still got that cough. Important to note here that it is AJ Green with the questionable tag there as well. So if you pull him from the rotation, one of these guys is going to just be next man up a little bit sooner. That most likely to be Kevin Porter Jr., because I anticipate they probably go Rollins, Prince, Kuzma, Giannis, and Lopez to start. That would be my best guess. Yeah. Yeah, Nick saying that Cruz is just so consistently not getting there, but he'll just keep doing it. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just yeah, man. This team, man, I don't know. They need Bobby Portis and they need Dame back in a big way. Just that Kuz trade. Who knows? I don't know. Kuz is fine, but like basically every advanced metric just says he's just like doesn't help your team. All right, let's move back to a beautiful unabated platform here. I actually have this one as the slowest game on the slate. This one is slower than Wizards and Magic for me. That being Brooklyn and T Wolves. T Wolves as road favorites, 12 and a half here, 216 total in this one. Breaking down the injury report here on the Nets side is Clowney's out. Cameron Johnson's out. Cam Thomas is out. Melton's out. D'Lo with the probable tag. Darion Sharp is out. Jalen Wilson has the Q tag, and Zaire Williams is listed as out as well. So the Nets availability for this evening kind of looks like 10, 11, something like that, anticipating that D'Lo is in. So D'Lo goes every time. Claxton goes almost every time. I think they're probably my two favorite targets on the Nets. Obviously, don't love the matchup for bigs against the combination of Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle, and then just pace down spot here. Not a spot I'm like crazy trying to get overweight on, but like mixing in like a late round Drew Timmy share. That'd probably be my favorite. Scroll the F down from this game. Watford can get there from a rates perspective too if Claxton falls into two quick ones, which is prone to happen, but less likely to happen against a guy like Gobert, who is kind of like a fourth scoring option at the best of times. So not a guy who's attacking Claxton all that much. But yeah, I think it's just Russell, Claxton, and then if you want to get funky with it, I think I'd go Drew Timmy, and then I would go Watford in the last round. I do think there is a path to Drew playing like some decent minutes, and he's had some fun, not like quote unquote ceiling outputs, but like, he's got some size. He can shoot a little bit. He had this 19-point game in 28 minutes. I mean, it's thin, but everyone that we're scrolling for in terms of choose your own adventure in the last round is going to be like extremely thin today. But that's what makes these 6-game ball knower slates so fun late in the season. As far as the T-Wolf side, I'm basically lower on every single T-Wolf than their current ADP right now. Like the Ant Edwards at 7, like that's fine, but I think I'd rather have Franz and Ja. That's where I was at early in the day. I mean, mixing and matching that tier feels fine to me, but I could see you wanting, get overweight Ant there. That being said, Julius Randle has some really nice box scores in recent memory, but evergreen reminder that some of those box scores came in a double OT game where he played 49 minutes, and also with Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo suspended, both of them expected back this evening. So when the T-Wolves are at full and they're playing against a team that is big and it's a slow pace game and they're 12 and a half point favorites on the road, I'm just kind of like low key, not waving a little bit here. Like it's hard at their ADPs because they're just entrenched in the first and the third round there. So I'm not going to want to have none of it, but I'm definitely looking at pieces around them and saying, like, hypothetically speaking, if we got like Shaden Sharp without, and we're not going to know this until, closer to lock, but if we got Shaden Sharp without Simons this evening, I think I'd take him over these two Minnesota pieces. I think it's fine to take Desmond Bane over it, even though it is paced down for Memphis this evening. Yeah, I don't know. Nick throwing some alpha in here that Randall owns the Nets, declaring his supremacy of New York there. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got for that one. You could do worse than like a Jaden McDaniels in the 6th round or something, or a Nas Reed in the 6th round today. But I'm not jumping up and down to do it. But if you want a guy who's gonna who could potentially fill it up off the bench and then play a little bit extended up to that 26, 28 minutes there, Nas Reed could be a good rates guy who's available late if you don't want to play whack-a-mole on Wizards and Sixers and Nets pieces, right? Um Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say on that one, just in general. I think from a macro, guys, like this whole slate is like there's 3 closer spread games, and they happen to be 3 of the higher totals, but there's no like crazy outlier totals on this slate, and there's a couple big spread margins here with like some quote unquote tanking teams. But yeah, I think that's just kind of like macro takeaways. Heat and Grizz up next here. A 225.5. Grizzlies as 5.5 on the road here. Obviously, life after Taylor Jenkins here. Brandon Clark also done for the year there for the Grizz. So what has happened here is Zach Edey. Zach Edey has come back into our lives in a decent way here, playing some big minutes. Whether it was a matchup thing with the Warriors for whatever reason, I wouldn't think that would be a spot that you'd want to go big and get Zach Edey extra burn. But he came back into our lives with 32 minutes there, 40 fantasy points last time out for Memphis. So yeah, just interesting to note there. We're going to get to the core 3 here in a big way. 33 for Jaw, 30 for JJJ, and 35 for Bane last time out in that game there against the Warriors, where Steph Curry went absolutely nuclear. But yeah, just a little more condensed and a little more expanded minutes for the starters, which is kind of what we want from a fantasy standpoint in terms of what Jenkins wasn't giving us earlier in the year. Also worth noting here that Vince Williams Jr. is going to be out this evening with an illness. I'm going to refresh the injury report here and see if we got the official Heat one at 2:30. The official Heat one lists Haywood Highsmith as questionable. Jovic is still out with that broken hand. Kevin Love still out with the personal reasons. Duncan Robinson with a Q tag. Terry Rozier listed as out. Andrew Wiggins and Drew Smith listed as out there. So the Duncan Robinson one is interesting with this Q tag because I don't know if he'd come back in and start right away. They've been doing different iterations of the starting unit. I got us cooked last time out in the pick'em lobbies on this Pele Larson one there. My bad here, guys. I didn't think they would go back to him in the starting unit there, especially after they expanded the Jaime Jaquez minutes. That being said, they go right back to Larson playing in the starting unit, plays 30. He absolutely nukes our PRA pick'em there. Yeah, I imagine he starts again this evening in a pace-up environment here if we end up with no Duncan Robinson. Yeah, and Duncan Robinson's missed a while too, so it's well over 5 games now, right? Yeah, that's at least 6, I think. Yeah, so I don't know. Oh, here's a good shout. Sorry, before we move on from the Memphis stuff, it is a good shout that no Vince Williams, and also the fact that, let me confirm my work here. Is Gigi Jackson back with the team? He was on G League assignment. I don't know if he's back, but there is some push pull here that Santi Aldama benefits in a big way when they're missing the big body 4s that could eat into those minutes. So Santi Aldama does benefit in a big way from no Vince Williams and no Gigi Jackson. So that's a good shout there for a scroll the F down. Um, all right. Figuring out the 4-5 turn will be big tonight. Yeah. Almost evergreen with that one, Cole, for sure. But yeah, it definitely stands out in a big way. And that's where I was pushing up Anthony Simons earlier because I thought he would project in that range. And then if he doesn't go, we got that Banton swap. So I was doing that, pushing him up in the fourth there. But that will be the toughest part of the drafts. Absolutely. Oh, sorry guys. I'm still fighting that. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the Heat here. So, evergreen reminder to not sleep with your boss's ex-wife because then you get banished to the shadow realm, like Jaime Jaquez has done here. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, doesn't play the Atlanta game. Then he gets 23, puts up all the fantasy points like we love to see from him. In some like blowout, coupled with blowout run stuff against Washington, and then no more minutes against Boston. So yeah, just our evergreen reminder there. I think if Larson starts because this game is a little bit closer in terms of spread, one of the higher in quotations total games on the slate in that upper echelon of the top three there, and the fact that um yeah, just like pace up spot tighter spread that if he does end up starting, he could definitely be in scroll the F down 6th round consideration there. That being Larson this evening. Also solidified a little bit more with Rozier being out and then potentially Haywood Highsmith being out as well with that Q tag. So yeah, I think Hero probably looks pretty good and is going appropriately priced right now. I'm mixing and matching him and Franz in that kind of like ADP 8, 9, 10 range. I do like Ja more than I like Hero today in that range. I think Ware is fine in the 6th round, although the box scores haven't reflected, but the minutes have been there in recent memory. I think Edie is fine as a scroll the F down in the 6th round, but if you want to get even crazier with it, it's probably Santi. So the core three from the Grizz, the two main guys from the Heat, and then the scroll the F downs will be Edie, Ware, potentially Aldama, Larson, and Davion Mitchell, who played a lot of minutes last time out as well there. His minutes become a little bit more solidified with no Terry Rozier, though they weren't greatly impacted before by that. Yeah, that's kind of like my biggest takeaways from that one. A lot of games today that just feel like, yeah, you just want one or two pieces here, and like they're kind of just condensed around the all. I think all our builds are going to be condensed around the stars, and then the 6th round is just you're going to have that one-off piece that finds the extended minutes or finds garbage time. All right, let's move on. Blazers and Raptors. Jump back on over to Unabated here. Raptors 224 and a half total here. Blazers as 4.5 point favorites on the road, playing some inspired basketball, fighting for the play-in there. I believe the Raptors have officially been eliminated from the play-in. Yep, officially eliminated from the play-in. But they are tanking off to protect their pick. That is what they are doing right now. They're not going to be in the conversation or contention for like the 101 and the Cooper Flag sweepstakes necessarily, but or at least not in good contention. But they have protected pick incentives to continue tanking here. So looking at the Raptors, reminder that this is front end back to back. So just put that in the back of your mind when dealing with the Scotty Barnes Q tag. But they have Jakob Pertl and IQ already listed as out here. Colin Castleton is no longer with the team. He is now with the 76ers. Scotty Barnes has that Q tag, which we're dealing with in the middle rounds there. RJ Barrett missed last game, but he's been playing kind of like 28 every single time that he's played. So he's soft capped as well. And then Jared Roden, he's got the Q tag as well. So this evening, if we get Scotty Bolway in there, expecting Orlando Robinson at the 5 to match the size of Klingon. If you get no, and then Scotty Barnes at the 4, RJ, and then Jamal Sheed and Jacoby Walter. Jacoby Walter had a nice game from 3 a couple times ago out. When was that? 2 games ago? 1 game ago. Look at Toronto for a second here. Walter. Yeah, last 2 games here, kind of nice. 27, 34 in some, bad games, or like bad teams in quotation, or pace up teams with the Sixers and with Chicago there. 43 fantasy points, 28 fantasy points. Yeah, just interesting to note there. Yeah, Jamal Sheed's minutes kind of been all over the place. Don't think we can play him today on our site unless we maybe can, swap to one of these guys. If we end up getting no Scotty Barnes, I imagine Mobo draws into the starting lineup if Scotty Barnes is out. That being said, probably not playable on our site today anyways. Orlando Robinson, man, I don't know, man. He's journeyman. It's been ugly to watch. If you guys have happened to watch any Raptors basketball in recent memory, he was just, I believe it was the Washington game against SAR, and he just gets in there and gets a bunch of quick ones, and it's not fun to watch. But if he starts and he runs north of 25 because he has no backup 5 behind him, and they match size with Klingon, you could do worse in the last round. But this is kind of like the crux of this slate is there's so many guys that are going to project between like 23 and 18 fantasy points that are all going to be available in the 6th round. And you literally just have to go, which one of these guys could fall into either higher rates or expanded minutes. And he's probably not a guy who could fall into expanded minutes, but he could definitely fall into rates, right? So this is the push-pull dynamic of the entirety of the slate. All right. Sorry. Blazers side of the equation, they're still playing without Scoot. Jeremy Grant is doubtful, not listed as out. Just be mindful, but I'm not expecting Jeremy Grant this evening. So Scoot is out. Jeremy Grant's doubtful. Time Lord is out. And then Anthony Simons with the right forearm contusion has the Q tag. He has missed 1 game there, I believe. It was the most recent game. Let me confirm while we're talking about it. And there is a little note suggesting that it won't be a long-term absence for him as well. So if he comes back in, he kind of cannibalizes everybody else around him, most notably Shaedon Sharpe, who's been playing some really good basketball and having some nice box scores there. So trying not to pair those two together, because my Sharpe teams, I want ceiling outcomes, which most likely don't come with Simons there. Kind of same thought process with Denny Avdia, not really trying to pair Sharpe and Avdia together on the right-hand side of the board there. But yeah, a lot of draftable pieces for the Blazers. And then we talked about the swappability of Delano Banton being my 101 swap if Simons doesn't go. Kamara's ADP is a little high for my liking. I think it's a little bit of hedging on the Q tag. I would rather just take Klingon or take the Simons Q tag and then swap off of it. This feels like one of my favorite teams in quotations to get to today with Portland, just because I think the minutes are safest and they're in an up-tempo game and they're going against a bad Toronto team here and they're wanting to win. So all those things matter to me this time of year. So I've been really targeting, trying to get some Sharpe, trying to get some Avdia, and then trying to get overweight on Simons and give myself access to swappability stuff. I think Klingon's fine. He hasn't killed it in a box score in a long, long time. I guess that Cleveland game where they matched size with the bigs there. But yeah, I'm not in love with Klingon this evening. But you could do worse. Kind of famous last words for all these pieces in the last round there. Yeah, so in terms of like draftable pieces, Simon Sharpe's, Tumani Kamara's good in the last round, but I probably wouldn't take him at ADP in the 5th. Avdia in the 1st and or 2nd is good. Klingon's good. And then Banton will be a swap / fifth, sixth round viable if we get an out tag on Simons. Raptors side, it's RJ a little bit and Scotty a little bit when they fall past ADP. And then, if you want to play whack-a-mole in the last round with, Walter or Sheed or Orlando Robinson, be my guest. But I think I would rather chase the 76ers or Washington minutes than try to do the Raptors thing, especially if Scotty Barnes is in. Yeah, that's where I'm at on it right now. Last game on the slate, late night hammer. We will not know starting lineups. So thankful that we only have probable tags and not a ton of Q tags to deal with in this one, because everything is going to be locking at 7 or 7:30 Eastern. And then the last game on the slate is an island game at 10 p.m. Eastern, nationally televised, Lakers and Warriors. Just excited to watch this game in general. Like a lot of playoff implications here. Steph coming off of that monster, 50 points and almost setting a 3-point record, and the 90 fantasy points. So yeah. For me though, I'm going to continue to, as much as I like Austin Reeves as a basketball player, I'm going to continue to fade him at ADP right now. It's just, I see this team as a two-headed monster, not a three-headed monster when everybody is healthy. And I will just happily take my Luka and Braun and then try. The other problem is every time you take Reeves is you pair it with one of them because it's always on the left-hand side of the board there. So if you want to take some Reeves, I like taking it with my Giannis or with my Paulo teams more so than pairing it with one of the Lakers components on the left-hand side of the board. But that being said, Austin Reeves' ADP is always going to be higher than his projection. The minutes are strong and safe, and this game matters. And I could see wanting to get to it over, some of these back-end guys like, Grimes or JJJ or Randall. I will be the guy taking Quentin Grimes and JJJ over Austin Reeves today. That's just how I'm playing it. If you guys see it differently, by all means, but that's how I'm treating it. That's what my stuff that I'm looking at behind closed doors and putting together treats it, that there's kind of like a little bit of a stopgap, and he's kind of like a tier break for me before you get to the Minnesota stuff or before you get to Desmond Bane. Like that's kind of how I'm treating it. I would pull Shaedon Sharp over him this evening if we knew right now that Anthony Simons wasn't playing basketball. So that's where I'm at. I don't think you can draft any other Laker. They are so deep right now, and they, all these secondary pieces, they just don't have enough usage to matter. I guess Rui or Jackson Hayes would be like my favorite, in quotation, fourth option. But like DFS doesn't give you anything from a rate standpoint. Neither does Vanderbilt. They're just defense wing guys. I mean, Rui can give you a little something, but and Jackson Hayes can work off of the high side screen and roll, but he's going to be dealing with Draymond Green. So yeah, I'm kind of waving the white flag on auxiliary Lakers tonight, and it's just kind of like Luka, Braun, or Reeves at a discount. On the Warriors side, for me, Steph at ADP, it's going to be fine. It's going to, project probably exactly at ADP. Jimmy Butler in the same vein there. I think we can get to pods, and pods will look even better if Kuminga gets ruled out. I think pods in the last round feels like pretty decent. Pods' role feels like similar to like Christian Brown, for instance, where it's like, that when he's on the floor, he's like the third or fourth option, but like the minutes will be strong. He's almost always going to start, and occasionally he'll just be the guy that night. So that's where I'm at with the pod stuff, is like you can mix it in the last round. I like it more than Kuminga this evening, for instance, with the Q tag. So yeah. Draymond, just hashtag never Draymond, not chasing that box score. It's definitely a good spot for fives, but the Lakers are getting bigger, man. When the Lakers get all the bodies back, they are getting bigger in terms of size. But I just never chase the Draymond stuff when he's priced up after like a good game. That was an up tempo game against Memphis. Curry went nuke and shot the lights out to boost the assist numbers for him. Never Draymond is kind of evergreen with me. I think his ADP is far too frothy today. I kind of like, you know, famous last words. Famous last words today. I've said this a couple times. I kind of like taking the swappability of Scotty Barnes over him. But what would you rather have? 31 minutes of Draymond tonight or 24 minutes of Scotty Barnes? Me thinks 24 minutes of Scotty Barnes. And then if you don't get Scotty Barnes, some form of value is going to open up later on in this slate when we get a starting lineup. Someone like Justin Champagne, and we can just, mix them in. Yeah. Never Draymond, me thinks. Adam's all over it. Adam's all over it. Nick giving me the gotta give Reeves the Island game only 10 p.m. game bump. Is Reeves an Island game bump guy? We want that late night hammer after all of our Julius Randle in the third round has fallen flat on its face. You want to be the guy who has a lineup left that has a live third round piece? That's the alpha. That's the East Coast alpha from New Jersey, Nick. Respect it, dude. Man. All right. Let's close it on that. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. That's a 229.5. Lakers -1.5. The injury reports are super clean. Gary Payton is out. Kuminga's the Q tag. LeBron's the probable tag. He's playing this evening. Maxi Kleber's still out. Yeah, that's the gist of it. That's the 6 games. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of really tethered to ADP in the early going of drafts. And then I think a lot of people right now are going to push up SAR in this fifth round range, probably in line with Kuzma here. The SAR teams are going to get boosted up, and then it's going to be do whatever the F you want in the 6th round. I can spin a narrative for liking Aldama. I can spin a narrative for Zach Edey's most recent box scores and needing the size to play against Khalil Ware and Bam. I can spin a narrative of Ware starting at the 5 and getting an up-tempo matchup against Edey. I can spin a narrative for Claxton matching size against Gobert there. I can spin a narrative for Pods. If you want to play your favorite 76er as a scroll the F down, I think it's important to note that the second half of last game, it was Jared Butler who started over Ricky Council. I do think they're going to manage the contract of Jeff Doughton today, which means I think we can get to Lonnie Walker. I think we can get to Jared Butler there if you want to do some whack-a-mole of these guys in the last round. Bona, I think is fine, but if his ADP suggests he's getting drafted every single time, just flip that and take Yabu, because Yabu gave us the let us know already, and Yabu is probably playing basketball because of that tonight. It has 100% success rate. His let him know there. If you want to play the Galbrain blowout spot of the night, Giannis goes nuke. Then you tack on Kevin Porter Jr. to close. That's the Galbrain spot of the night. Because we know Kevin Porter Jr., if he gets 20 minutes against backup 76ers, he's going to fucking get his. He's going to get his. Bad guy, good basketball player in garbage time. Big Bones Highlands vibe there. Bub Carrington is the safest bet for Washington minutes. We saw it last night, 41 there, 38 the game before, and they're probably only going to have 10 or 11 bodies this evening there after the Jordan Poole rule out and stuff. So feel free to scroll the F down. If you want to go the rates route, I would suggest Tristan Vucevic and uh, Justin Champagne. Those are the two guys from a rate standpoint that are going to have higher fantasy point per minute outputs than Bob Carrington, but I think Carrington's minutes are safer. Whichever one of these two guys starts this evening, though, I'm going to want to have a little bit in my life, even though we don't love the Orlando matchup. So there's your extreme scroll the F downs. Let's hop in a couple drafts and see what this looks like. Where are we at? Bang. We've done 10 so far. Obviously, last night, being a puck guy, I was unable to draft. So I did all 10 this morning. Adam was at Georgia when Claxton was there. That's sick, dude. He's in Goober. That's sick. Big shout outs again to our guy, Just a Guy, Alan, dropping by with 5 gifted memberships. We're on a streak here. We're on an absolute heater with gifted memberships. Brett Boy, game 7, aka game 3 of the series, hard fought battle. Your boy was double shifting. We were running 8-4 last night, and we took care of business. We got up early. We were up 2-0 in the first 5 minutes. Then we blew the lead, and we were 2-2 in the second period. Then we were down 3-2 with about 5-6 minutes left in the second, and your boy buried one, obviously, make it 3-3, and then a beautiful tic-tac-toe game winner at the tail end there to take it down 4-3. Your boys are headed to the finals for the UBC Division 1 puck finals there. If the Washington spread was closer this evening, guys, I would venture to take Paulo over Braun here. That being said, Braun coming home after the extended media tour, LeBron James on national TV, LeBron James playing big-ass minutes. Let's just go ahead and take him. But if I was running the hashtag models and that Washington spread was like 8.5 instead of 15.5, I think I would have Paulo ahead of Braun tonight. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, my puck guys in the chat wishing us luck. Appreciate you guys. We are long-standing champions in that league, and I'm not gonna lie, we're getting a little fucking old. We are getting a little old compared to the young guys of fresh out of junior and fresh out of college Division 1 kids around here. I gotta get back in the gym this summer. I've said on the show before that I kind of quit working out this year, like just because my body was taking such a beating between hockey and working out that I was like, my body looks shittier, but I feel better playing hockey and less sore by not mixing in workouts. It's just been working for me. That being said, I gotta get my body right in the summertime here to if I want any chance at keeping these legs youthful enough to chase around 22-year-olds next year. Franz comes back to us. I have Franz as a tier break. I know the spread's kind of gross, but I do know that it's pace up for Orlando. I want a piece of this game. Last time out against Washington, Franz was absolutely cooking, and then he got like 2 quick ones, and he had 3 fouls, and they sat him for like a large portion of that. But he was definitely cooking the last time they played the Wiz. The cheese man on the corner there, going with the Quentin Grimes stuff there. They're tempting us, guys. I said I didn't love Reeves this evening. Reeves falls back to us here. I do think the stopgap for Reeves is, a little bit further than this in my hashtag model. I like the idea of Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't love the matchup versus the bigs. So let's just flip the ADPs. Did I miss the button? Oh no. Oh, there we go. We got it. That was weird. It lagged. Um uh yeah, I do think flipping the ADPs of JJJ and Bane just to get unique is entirely fine. I think they will project similarly enough that like you don't really have to worry. I wouldn't do it every single time, but from a combo standpoint, like LeBron, Franz, and Desmond Bane is going to be is going to be way more unique than JJJ in the Bane spot. And I think we probably only sacrifice a point and a bit of projection there, especially with Edie's quote unquote new role here last game. So we'll see. Um, yeah, we got a 30 plus league that we play on Tuesday night. There's a long standing 30 plus league that's like really good with guys who used to play pro and stuff like that. And that's it's a little more like old school hockey. It's a little less like wide open and run and gun. It's a little more like if you don't show up with 9-4, you're probably going to get cooked that night in terms of bodies. Yes, married man chasing around 22-year-olds. Yes. I know, Nick. I know. I got to be better. RJ Barrett goes there. Shaden Sharp, man, I continue to harp on this. Guys, take some time out of your day and watch Shaden Sharp play basketball. Don't just watch the highlight reels. The highlight reels are a lot of fun. They're electric. The dunks look really cool. But I think Shaden Sharp's a really good basketball player. I think he's nice, man. I think he's nice. Brooke Lopez, kind of an end of a tier. Good matchup this evening against Yabu and Bona. I think Scotty Barnes will definitely project above him. There's also a little bit of like break glass in case of emergency with Brooke Lopez that he will push up. I don't know what's going on with the queue here, guys. I'm gonna refresh this. I keep queuing guys up, and then I'm scared I'm not gonna get my pick in. All right, we got it. That if the Giannis probable tag goes Windhurst on us and we get an LOL hoops moment, that Brooke Lopez will be a big time riser. Yeah. There's the new Alex Sarr ADP at 25, as I alluded to. Simons goes there, who would have been my pick. Absolutely would have been my pick. Yeah. I think D'Lo is fine here. We saw a little bit of a ceiling from him last time out. Not the greatest matchup in the world, obviously, and it's the lowest total, slowest game on the slate. But I think D'Lo is a little bit of a stopgap for me. What is going on here, guys? Can't queue anybody. Every time I click the star, it doesn't pop over. Chrome browser and Underdog. A little bit of oil and water this week on my computer for whatever reason. Might have to go with the old off and then on again and blow the cartridge here. The Gulf Coast Killer. Lefty Killer. Let's see what he does from the 6th hole. Cleo Ware goes there. Kyle Kuzma. Like, this is kind of my issue with the slate today, guys. If Kuzma and Ware and these guys are going to go every single draft, like, just fucking pivot. Like, just pivot your last 2 round picks. If these guys are going to go every single time, like, the other options aren't going to project like that far off. We get a Bona and Edie on the end there. That's pretty good. Tumar Katraz. Is that what we settled on for Tumani Kamara's nickname? I think Naz Reid's fun here. Man, I can't click on anybody. This is weird. Let's go scrolling. Let's take Justin Champagne. I think he can play, north of 28 tonight. I think he draws into the starting lineup. He's a guy that, like, when Middleton's out there, when Poole's out there, he doesn't get his shot up, and he's really frustrating to watch because he's like the fourth option camped out in the corner, and he's not very aggressive. But I have really noticed when those other guys are out, he does take on more of a touch time and more of a handling role. So yeah, that seems like a good scroll the F down right now for a guy who could play 30 minutes tonight. You know, Jaden McDaniels can play 30 tonight. Naz Reid can kill it from a rates perspective in 25 minutes. Santi Aldama with Vince Williams out feels like a good click. I won't touch Cole Anthony tonight. I think he's still going to be soft cap. Banton, if you want to get ahead of the swap stuff, but I do think Simons is trending in the right direction. Yeah, there's just a lot of mix and match at the back end here. I would probably, or I will probably rank 25 players today. Yeah, I will rank 25 players today, and then I will mix and match thereafter. I think the last player that I will list will be Sar at 25, 26, something like that. D'Lo, Sar, and then I'll mix and match the whole following tier. Kuzma included in that tier. That's where I'm at, guys. Let's rip one more of those. Those are fun. Let's see. I was about to say maybe we could fill the 100, but we couldn't get your queue. Please try refreshing the page. Okay, so Underdog is aware of this, and the site is aware of it. All right, we'll keep refreshing and see what happens. There you go. Dom asking, what about the Toronto subs? Yeah, we talked about it a little bit there. Orlando Robinson is probably my favorite scroll of the bunch. Yeah, I'd go Orlando Robinson. That'd probably be my favorite of the bunch there in terms of the Raptor stuff. I think the Raptor stuff becomes way more interesting if Scotty Barnes gets ruled out. Mobo or Agbaji. Agbaji's probably going to be in the starting lineup regardless, right? What do you guys think? He sat last time out. Do you think Agbaji draws in no matter what? I don't know. There's going to be some push-pull on whether they start Walter or not, and then there'll be some push-pull if Scotty Barnes is out. I think he probably plays through the Q tag, but I'm not 100% certain on that take. This is your standard start here, guys. You know, Giannis, then Luka. Let's do it for the stream. Pull up Paulo. Man, can't star anybody. All right, we just got to remember this when the clock's bleeding down. Pull up Paulo here. Hope that game plays somewhat tighter. I do think if you are going to get overweight on Paulo or Franz, that tacking on a Washington piece makes a lot of sense today. Kind of like the theory we had yesterday with the OKC stuff, where it was like, if that game stays closer and more competitive than the spread indicates, you might want a piece from the other side, or you might want two pieces from OKC, which is what ended up, you needed to have that in the winning lineup last night, because that game did stay, you know, relatively close down the stretch. It was like 119 to like 104 or something like that, and played pretty tight in general. So yeah, okay, here, sorry. I was getting lost in my own thoughts. Okay, so let's do something that we normally wouldn't do. I normally wouldn't pair Franz and Paulo together. I think their ceilings cannibalize one another. I would usually pull Hero over here, but let's do this and see if we can get like a little bit of game correlation with this game environment staying a little bit closer. Call me a John Too Smooth with this one. Call me a Roto Too Smooth if you catch the reference. We could do JJJ again, kind of a chalky start, but it might be contrarian enough that these two guys are paired together. We could pull Bane over. That's fine. Let's pull Shaden Sharp over and just decide that, like, hey, you know what? Anthony Simons needs one more day off with the bone contusion. Let's pull Shaden Sharp over here. Has a more dominant handling role. Let's go with it. Ooh, Winky dropping that alpha right now. Bub over Sar today. Okay. Okay. Doesn't like the bigs matchup for Sar versus Wendell Carter Jr. and Goga. Winky dropping that alpha for us. Okay. Winky, who is your favorite auxiliary 76ers and or Raptors and or Wizards piece from like the 6th round? Not named Bub. If it's Bub Carrington, that's all good. But who's your favorite of like those scroll the F down? Okay, never Draymond, guys. Stick to our guns here. I was gonna pull up SAR right here and do this Washington thing with this stack, but by the sounds of it, it would be a bad idea. Let's do D'Lo then. Let's bring up D'Lo. D'Lo plays almost full. He gets his shots up tonight. Let's get D'Lo in here. Heard it here first. Jacoby Walter. Scroll the F down from Winky. That's the alpha we're looking for. There you go. UD lagged like crazy when you joined in. Adam's in here. ADW1, I imagine. Our guy Steven's in here as well. So that answers your question, Dom. Winky likes Walter this evening. Okay. Now, I would normally take Simons here, but we did the sharp thing. So we got to start scrolling. And we're doing it. We're getting this Bub Carrington share in here, mixed in with the Orlando game stack stuff. Let's get that one. Nino asking, which Timberwolf would you take in the 6th round? I like Naz Reid. Naz Reid, baby. Nick saying I should have pulled up SAR and taken Carrington. You're probably right. You're probably right. But just wait. Just wait for what happens next, buddy. Just wait. Just wait. This draft has already been scripted in our minds. We scroll the F down, not once, but twice. We pay a touching tribute to our guy, Winky, in the chat. Kobe Walter fills it up tonight, dials it back to that last game against the Sixers where he cooked with the 3-pointers. We get him in there. He won Johnny Basketball's every pick'em under the sun. He's going to win us a slate tonight. That's where I'm at. I'm fine with Dante. I'm fine with Naz Reid. I'm fine with Jaden McDaniels in the last round. The problem is you're in a pace down game against a team that's really big as 10+ point favorites. Like they're just going to run this team so effing deep and long that like no one really no one really is popping off the page for me with the T-Wolves. Like that's where I was at when I was looking at it. T-Wolves are kind of like soft fade at ADPs for me right now. Naz Reid's the most fun off the bench. Pause. My bad. Pause. Yeah. When Kuzma actually going to do anything? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, D'Lo's a classic. Just take him because the robots won't take him. That's true. I mean, D'Lo's just like kind of like the exact same conversation that we had about Poole yesterday and the day before. Is when they're missing bodies and they can't afford to just like be like, oh, you're only playing 21 or 22 tonight, and he gets to play 24 to 28. He's just gonna get his, right? Like he's just gonna jack it up. He doesn't give a fuck if they win, lose, anything. He's just trying to fill up box scores, man. Yeah. All right. That was NBA. Hope that was sufficient enough for you guys. A 6-game unabated breakdown there. Guys, go check out the beautiful platform that is Unabated. They've been killing it in the pick'em department. They've been killing it in the props department. I mean, they have a props tracker for their base unit is 100, and they are up like 8.6, 8.8% ROI on the season for both of their when projection drop lock, uh, picks, and then all of their at lock picks. And I mean, it's just incredible to see a chart just go whoop like this. So when you're part of the concierge program or you're part of the pick'em tool, or even if you just want to be a part of the projections stuff for NBA, man, they've been killing it. Got me on DeMar DeRozan in a big, big way the last 2 times out after the big shift took place with Malik Monk being out of the starting lineup. Really opened up stuff for DeMar DeRozan, and they were over the field on that stuff. So yeah. All right, guys, let's move on and answer our guy Cordell's question here. Is Nasty Nestor, aka Nestor Cortez, what you need for MLB tonight? I mean, it's a bounce back spot. It's a bounce back spot. Can't be any worse than the last time out. But when you're SP1 on a 2-game slate, you're probably not going to be a huge part of my portfolio. I like right-handed power against Nestor Cortez tonight, and that is why my guy Matt McLean is on the cover. Okay, guys, so let's talk about this. 2-game slate, 3,000 entries. We are going to have to do some contrarian scrolling, some contrarian stacking. Let's go back to yesterday, for instance. Yesterday's main slate was how many games were on that one? Remind me. 3 games? 4 games? It was a short slate as well. How many games were on this one? There were 4 games. 4 games. And we had Schwarber, Devers, Harper, Judge, Ohtani, all the Atlanta guys, Olsen, Riley. We had all these sick pitchers, Snell, Rodon, Wheeler, all these guys who look amazing on paper. And then what ends up winning the contest? Zach Gallen, Tommy Edmonds, Michael Conforto, Alec Boehm. You could have had this team every single time if you wanted it. It was just Travis was the only smart guy to put it together. You could have had this team every single time if you wanted it. But everybody was too busy fighting over getting Ohtani with Harper or Ohtani with Teoscar Hernandez that they forgot about finding a contrarian path to first. And that's all we have to think about on these short slates. If you manage to get the GM of putting Corbin Carroll and Aaron Judge together, do it. Do it. Just do it, right? Peace out, Nick. Good luck, my friend. Good luck this evening. I know some of you hoopers are not in the baseball streets, so if you happen to dip out, I'm not offended. I'm not offended. But yes, if you guys want to do that, put it together. I can't believe Matt McLean's projection, to be honest, on the site. I thought we were pulling the wool over people's eyes. I thought it was going to be a sneaky play today, but it obviously isn't. He's going to hit second in that order today against the lefty there. This is a classic getaway spot, guys. End of series spot or start of series spot for both teams. So let's take a look at the macro of the schedule with what could happen. And the reason I bring that up is we can get funky stuff in terms of lineups on getaway days, right? There is one more thing. Don't let me forget to talk about the early slate for a half second because there's a teaching principle that I want to get in on this one. The Yankees go to Pittsburgh tomorrow. So this is a getaway day spot, which means there's potential for Aaron Judge to become the DH, which means someone like Austin Wells would get a rest day, which means Trent Grisham would probably play center field and come off the bench, something like that. So things to be mindful of before the lineups are out. Just thinking through the potential rest spots there. It is the start of the series for the Reds in Milwaukee. So they are playing a 4-game set this weekend in Milwaukee. This is game 1. So end of a series for the New York and Arizona, which is another reason why Ketel Marte is out of the lineup there, because they travel to Washington tomorrow for an evening game. So they took a rest spot there for Ketel Marte. So yeah, there, just be mindful of these things. We talk about getaway uh, days on Wednesdays, on Thursdays, and then catchers occasionally sitting day games on Sundays and day games after night games. Just be mindful when you're drafting that some funky business can take place, right? Now let's see, because the Yankees lineup is out. Let's see if I'm even remotely correct. Of course I am. Of course I'm correct. We get a funky lineup with Ben Rice leading off, who has 2 homers in his last 3 games. We get Trent Grisham in center field. We get Austin Wells not in the lineup. So fucking of course. So that's how I was drafting it this morning. These are the things we just have to be mindful of going into these slates. Yeah. All right. I want to tell you, never Ellie. Never Ellie De La Cruz when he's hitting right-handed. He is so much better a hitter as a left-handed hitter. That being said, I believe he's homered once already in that 2 home run, 7 RBI, 2 steal game, 50 fantasy point from the right-hand side of the plate there. So Ellie, better from the left side, will be hitting from the right side to start the game tonight. We're still going to play Ellie when his projection is this buried. Move him up, move him up. He, even though he's hitting from the right hand side of the plate for his first 2.8 at bats or whatever it is, 2.68 at bats, he will be hitting from the right side. He is still worth drafting over, some of these auxiliary Arizona pieces there. Starting with the pitching here, obviously Nestor, they might have had the book on him last time out. He was the talk of the torpedo bats, and the fact that he was a former Yankee going into Yankee Stadium. Maybe he was tipping something. Maybe they had the book on him there, but an awful start to start the season. Not the softest of landing spots or bounce back spots here, but his first start at home. And left-handed pitching plays better in that ballpark than right-handed pitching, because left-handed hitting plays so much better in whatever they call Milwaukee. I don't know, America Family something now. I refuse. I refuse to. It'll always be named after beer in my heart. Yeah. Yeah, so I was doing kind of a soft fade of Nestor here. I think Nick Lodolo has the highest ceiling in terms of pitching on the slate because of the strikeouts. I think Merrill Kelly is the safest as like a innings eater. Then nasty Nestor would be late. And then, Carlos Carrasco, professional ass pitcher, not going to get you there from a strikeout standpoint. He's going up against a lineup that is predominantly left-handed at the top of the lineup there. I will remind everybody that Arizona is one of the best lineups in the world against left-handed pitching. They absolutely murder left-handed pitching, a little less so against right-handed pitching, but that's mitigated by the fact that left-handed hitting plays up big time at Yankee Stadium there. So I'm trying to fade Cookie Carrasco today, but if we end up with a slate that pitching just doesn't matter and all you need is 5 or 6 points from pitcher, I'm pretty fine having any one of these as long as it's not negatively correlated with more than 2 of my bats on my own team. That's kind of my rule of thumb there. So not prioritizing pitching, but trying not to get caught against myself. Jump free, though, alluding to, but for real, Lodolo has a ceiling. Absolutely. Lodolo has the highest available ceiling here just from the strikeout standpoint, especially when you look at the top end of what we think we'll get from the Brewers lineup today. Like Terang is a contact guy, right? And he's left-handed. Yelich is a lefty. Sal Frelick's a lefty. Garrett Mitchell's a lefty. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to get from there. I'd be a little scared of like Jackson Chourio, Contreras, Hoskins, and Joey Ortiz. Like those are four righties that I will mix and match for sure against him. So classic talking out of both sides of your mouth when it comes to baseball. But yeah, let's talk about that one. Or let's just like talk about the ceiling of Lodolo more so than being fearful of the lefties at the top of the order. There is kind of what I want to get at. Okay, let's go back to the teaching principle of the early slate. Let's look at the scores on the early slate first here. Um, baseball scores, ESPN. All right. It is 3-0 Phillies against the Rockies here. They have 11 hits in that one. It is 7-3 for the Red Sox in this one here. Okay. I'm going to use my friend Ballpark Pal in terms of the projections here, park factors. Sorry, give me 1 second here. I am a subscriber, but apparently I logged out on my phone. Classic. I logged in on my phone and out on my computer. Let me type in my password. We're back. All right. Okay. Look at this. Look at these ballpark factors playing up for power at Citizens Bank. 45% increase on the home runs. Look at the runs totals playing up. The Orioles Stadium was doing the same thing here. It'll always be Camden Yards in my mind here. Was playing up as well for hitting. And then look at the results that we're seeing right there. This is from like their simulations, right? And showing weather potential model there. It really matters where you go for your information to see what's getting boosted. Because I was looking at the home run potential for this, and you'll see a bunch of Rockies at the top here. And as you guys can see, they have 0 runs right now. And the Rockies were popping a big way here for this hashtag model, right? But then if you went to the Cardi stuff, all the stuff that was popping was the bats in the other game. So where you get your information governs your strategy in a big, big way. So I've been kind of like soft tracking early to start this season, and it's all going to be like really small sample size, but I've kind of been soft tracking like which ballpark factors to trust more than other ones. But yeah, that's just kind of like a macro that I was thinking about and kind of getting ahead of. Because if you look on one projection model, Mullins wasn't really popping. But then if you looked on like Cardi, for instance, Mullins was like the second or third best hitter on the slate. So yeah, it all depends where you get your information. And this is why you want to have like multiple sources. Why we preach, hey, you want Unabated's projections and you want ETR's projections and you want stochastics to mix them around, right? You want Cardi's projections. You want, Ballpark Pal. You want stochastic. You want, Adam Ship My Money's projections to mix and match all your baseball stuff as well. Yeah, baseball is a binary outcome sport. So don't get buried in the projections, but be mindful of what is boosting and what is going in to projections, right? So anyways, let's walk it back to the potential weather here. I don't think we're going to get weather. Obviously, we're not going to get weather in the Brewers game with the roof there. We did get some light rain yesterday, kind of like out of nowhere in that Yankees game. I was watching it. It was a few sprinkles. All the heavy rain stays away, and the wind's blowing out in that ball game. It's not expected to be particularly warm, though it is almost touching, 70 degrees there, which is a little bit warm for this time of year there. So the hitting with a little bit of wind blowing out is probably going to play better at Yankee Stadium today than it is for Brewers Reds. And the worst of the pitching, in my estimation, is in that game. So Diamondbacks are chalk for a reason, and Aaron Judge goes at the top of draft boards for a reason there. I will remind people, I did say it behind the paywall yesterday, that the number one path to duping on short slates like this will be to take SP1 and then auto draft a stack of 5 from the other game environment. That will be the 101 of finding your way to a dupe train. One way to potentially get contrarian off of that is to, a showdown principle, an old school showdown principle, not something we want to do a lot, but to stack one opposing hitter against your pitcher because they can get there against the bullpen. They can get there later in the game. They can be a one off. A perfect example of this yesterday would have been playing Zach Wheeler as a pitcher and then taking Hunter Goodman. I said take Goodman or Tolia as a one-off from Colorado. Goodman ends up being the one that homers. Just doing that as a one-off against your own pitcher, it's not going to kill your pitcher because on our site, it's only -1 for a run, and the home run is worth 16. Now, it's not something I advocate doing a lot, but on a 2-game slate, how else are you going to get different out here if everybody is drafting 4-man +1 stacks or 3-man +2-man stacks, or they're drafting 5-man onslaught stacks? How else are you going to get different? So just paths to getting different. Some sticks that are underpriced right now. I talked about the Ellie one, who's buried down here. Perdomo was underpriced all morning, and now he's found his way into a good lineup spot. Switch hitter there. I do think right-handed Milwaukee, even though I like Lodolo's ceiling as a pitcher from a strikeout standpoint, right-handed Milwaukee is underrepresented right now. Jackson Chourio, Rhys Hoskins, and Joey Ortiz in particular. Spencer Steer is my favorite mispriced hitter on the slate. Let me say that again. Spencer Steer is my favorite mispriced hitter on the slate. I am doing Spencer Steer plus Matt McLain, Spencer Steer plus whatever. It's not the better of the two implied run totals. It's not the better two game environments, but Spencer Steer is, say it with me, a lefty killer. Left-handed power plays better in Milwaukee, but I want some Spencer Steer in my life today. But long story short, guys, on a slate this short with this many, we just have to find unique combinations intelligently built. So let's get in the draft rooms and let's start building it on the fly, see what it looks like. We've already done 3 or 4 of these. I think I did 10 in the daytime diamond. So yeah. Did Bregman just go yard again? Everyone's saying Bregman's on fire. Torpedo Bregman. Johnny's saying Spencer Steer is a bad shoulder and shouldn't even be playing. That is some ball knowledge. Yeah. I mean, he was supposed to start the year on the IL, and he is playing through a little something. But Rafi Devers was doing the exact same thing, and he found his way out of it. Found his way out of it last night. Rafi Devers playing through a shoulder, was supposed to start the year on the IL and or as a DH only. He's doing the DH only thing. I believe my guy Spencer Steer can find his way out. Shoulders are scary for hitting, though. I get your concern. Here's a good point from Timmy. Any idea why the points for pitchers different in dailies than best ball / pick'em? Yeah, because they would ruin the scoring system on in the daily contest if it mirrored that, because they score so much. So much. They score too many fantasy points for the season long ones to be used in the daily. It would flip the pendulum too far of pitcher always mattering. Now, there's a couple wrinkles we could do that would kind of be a safe meet in the middle, but yeah. All right, Johnny, bringing some alpha here. We got to respect it. Spencer Steer, bat speed down 2 miles per hour so far. This is noteworthy. I will share. Let's go with McLain. I like McLain. I told you guys I put him on the cover for a reason. Okay, here you go. Here's why bat speed matters. I have a note in my phone. This is a good point from Johnny. Okay. Mookie Betts, when everybody was talking about him being sick, all that sort of stuff. Okay, let's make this decision here. We could do Ellie. We could do Steer. We could do Arizona. Let's do Cheerio. Cheerio's just a good hitter, man. Homer and a double yesterday. Cheerio gets the lefty and Lodolo. We don't have to worry about stacking Brewers right now because Lodolo is already gone. Yeah. Okay. Let me talk to you guys about bat speed and why it matters. So Mookie Betts last year averaged 74 miles per hour swing speed. Okay. This was all on the broadcast the other night in the game in which he homered twice. When he lost all the weight and was struggling to work his way back to the bat speed stuff. Okay. We don't have to take pitcher because JT McKenzie has already taken pitcher there. We could take the aforementioned Steer. We could go lefty. Let's take Merrill Kelly. We're going to take him. All right, let's take Kelly. Okay. I'm trying to figure it out. Don't ever do that. Don't take pitcher when the other guy's already taken pitcher over there. We just wanted to take pitcher before Jumfrey took pitcher because he's going to have to stack against himself. I should have taken the pitcher at 14, not 11, but I'm talking and I'm thinking about bat speed and I'm doing all this shit at the same time. Okay. We could do Hoskins, Steer, or Gurriel. I like all of them. Let's do Gurriel. Gurriel homered yesterday. He's a lefty killer. He's better against lefties than he is against righties. But this is a good spot. Wind blowing out. Gurriel, he was 0 for his last 34 against the Yankees. Evergreen reminder that doesn't mean shit. Okay. Yeah, you learn in a quick way there, Jumfrey. You learn in a quick way of the combos you can build and you can't build when you start building a slate. Get your Mr. Good Boys in the chat. He's been a Mr. Good Boy over there. Flopped on over. Pavin Smith goes there. I think we're going to round this one out. And this was kind of like my plan without saying it out loud. We're going to do a McLean one-off. Although Steer's still there, and I like Steer. Let's do Steer because I touted it and because I said I like Steer. And we know Hoskins is going to come back to us. Let's take Steer. We'll use Gurriel as the one-off, and we'll either build out a 2-2-1 by adding Rhys Hoskins or Joey Ortiz here, or we can make it a 3-stack of the Reds by adding Christian Encarnacion Strand, who's probably going to hit 5th today, gun to my head, something like that. Espinal will probably draw in and hit near the top. Let's do Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins traditionally hits lefties pretty well. Let's go 2-2-1 on this build. No negative correlation with Merrill Kelly there. Not bad. Okay. Back to Johnny's point. Okay. Steer's bat speed down 2 miles per hour. Why does this matter? Is bat speed something that we can track in small sample sizes and it be sticky? Eno will tell you yes. So I trust Eno that one of the number one measurable things that they look at now is bat speed in spring training. So I do think this stat matters. I'm happy that Johnny brought it to my attention. Jeez, man, this cough's killing me. Here's why bat speed matters. Mookie Betts, average bat speed last year, 74 miles per hour. When he lost the weight, had the sickness, came back to the States, missed the Japanese Open series there, he couldn't get his bat speed in the cage above 68 miles per hour. That matters because every mile per hour of bat speed results in 7 feet of carry. So in theory, if Spencer Steer is a good pull side fly ball hitter against lefties, if his bat speed is down 2 miles per hour, that means he's losing 14 feet of carry on those fly balls. That's a lot. That means a lot, right? That being said, Mookie Betts is down to 68 and has homered 3 times in the last 4 days. So there's some push pull here. There's some conversation to be had here. There's some nuance. Why is the swing speed down? Is it because of the shoulder? What is going on here? But I do really like that Johnny brought it to my attention and that we're talking about it, because I do think that's some applicable knowledge that you guys should be looking into and paying attention to. Baseball sickos. Yeah, like Curated's right. That's the difference between light tower power and warning track power is 14 feet, you know? So I think the biggest takeaway here, guys, is 7 feet per mile per hour. So I do think that's a good thing to think about. All right. Let's rip one last baseball draft, and then we're going to get one in for the hashtag puck guys. I haven't looked at anything. You guys are going to have to tell me what to do in the puck streets here. But let's get one last baseball one in, and then a puck one. Then we'll tie a bow on it. Unabated projections coming out 45 minutes time. I'm looking at the Discord right now. By the sounds of it, they're going to have a show today. Oh, here you go. We got an unabated update. Dylan Brooks. I was ahead of my time, guys. I was ahead of my time telling you that he was a potential sit candidate yesterday because of a looming suspension. He was suspended for 1 game for a 16th technical foul. It was obviously not applied to last night's game, but it was just something we talked about for the potential of him missing there and, you know, some minutes opening up specifically for Tari Eason. We were ahead of our time. He is suspended now. All right, let's do this. Shout out to our guy Topes is in here. Jumfrey's in here. Cassis is in here. All longtime names on the platform. Timmy Carr, aka Topes here, took down 2 slates so far this year. We got to keep our eye on him. Let's fuck around, find out. Let's fuck around, find out. Let's have some fun. Let's go Ben Rice and Cody Bellinger to start here. 2 guys with pop, with the handedness advantage, and hitting at the top of that order. Let's do a New York stack that doesn't include Jazz Chisholm or Aaron Judge. That will be a rarity. Obviously, considerable thinner path to scoring fantasy points by not having Judge and Chisholm in your lineup. That being said, cleaner path to first place if it breaks the right way. It's baseball, right? Anyone can go over on a day. Now we got to be mindful of what Cassius is doing here, because we know that Timmy Carr, now that he doesn't care what pitcher he gets because he's already stacking Reds. Oh, he does care. So he wants Merrill Kelly instead of Cookie Carrasco. So we've been left with Cookie Carrasco, which means we should probably take Arizona off our board unless we want to just go with like a 1 contrarian one-off. That being said, I don't love that idea for this build. Let's go back to the well for Jackson Churio. Let's go Jackson Churio. And okay, we got some other ideas here. We're going to do a 2 stack of the Yankees, and I'll tell you why in half a second here. Let's go Jackson Chourio and Willem Contreras. All right. I'm going to stick with a 2-stack of the Yankees. And the reason being is anything that happens next will most likely involve Judge or Jazz Chisholm behind them. So adding like Jason Dominguez to this, you're dodging a lot in the order on a short slate. You literally need Ben Rice to get a walk, Cody Bellinger to get a double, Judge to strike out, and then there goes my one off. Damn. Judge to strike out, Chaz Chisholm to strike out, and then Jason Dominguez to drive them both in. Like, you're trying to thread a tough needle there. We can add a Milwaukee stick to this. I was gonna add Christian Encarnacion Strand as a one-off. Let's queue up Carrasco because we know we have to take him. We can add Yelich to this. I mean, lefty versus high velo lefty is not my favorite to ape into. I don't really want the Garrett Mitchell lefty. I just told you guys why I don't want the Jason Dominguez. Of course, it can still get home. So that is kind of funneling us to taking, one of these Brewers. Let's go the Rhys Hoskins route again. Let's get him in there. He had a monster spring. Let's hope he finds his way back to homering today. So a little bit of a, contrarian build here where we forego one of the first round quote unquote stars, and we end up with, Rice and Bellinger in the first round, but then we also don't get one of the aces. We get the SP4 on the slate. So definitely a contrarian build. Going to project way worse than some of the other teams, but it definitely has a path. I really like, Timmy Carr's team here going contrarian outfield Arizona with that, kind of mispriced red stack. Everyone built some pretty intelligent, cromulent teams here. Yeah. But going to be a tough slate to get different and separate on, guys. So that's the biggest takeaway of this one is don't be afraid to mix and match. Look no further than what happened on the previous slate, or look no further than what is currently happening. I imagine we are cashing no daytime diamonds. Never fun. Christian Campbell, Bregman, a one-off, Cedric Mullins. Yeah. I mean, just a 2-2 with a one-off and, nothing crazy here. All guys that were available every single pick, basically, outside of Schwarber having the 101 or 102. So, yeah, nothing crazy. No GM here. No, Schwarber plus Harper plus, whatever. So, yeah, just an evergreen reminder that you can get home with It's Baseball. All right. Last draft of the day. My puck guys have been sitting there patiently waiting. Toe drag Thursday. 4 more spots. 4 more spots. Good luck to you, Timmy. Good luck. 3 more spots. Come on, let's get some puck guys in here. All right, what do we got for the puck schedule tonight? Little puck guys snapping around for the take a little look-sees. NHL schedule. All right. Boston's at the Bell Center. Tampa at Ottawa. That's a fun one. Definitely some playoff implications there. Colorado, Columbus. Blues and Pittsburgh. All right. Los Angeles versus Utah. I think the Canucks are drawing dead now, guys. Nuckies are drawing stone dead. All right, let's have some fun out here. We are in here with the true sickos right now. Who we scrolling here? Who we scrolling to? There you go. Mr. Pittsburgh's hanging out. Big pup guy. JT McKenzie is on the road. What's in this? What's that in reference to? He's on the road. All right. So the chalk spot looks like Colorado. It looks like Connor McDavid is not back yet. We're gonna have to do some scrolling. We got to get crazy out here. Where should we start? All right, let's do. We'll keep it classy to start. We'll do Cooch to start. Take a look at daily face off there. See what who's Cooch playing with these days. He's still obviously line one, PP one, probably with Jake Getzel and Braden Point there. So if we get one of those guys to come back to us, we can stack up a line, and then we will scroll the F down for another contrarian line, all 30 pluses that nobody's getting to. What about St. Louis, man? St. Louis is down here. They're in win now mode. Kyle Connor, he's got 36 snipes this year or some shit. Why is he buried all the way down here? You don't think he can score against Vegas? LA against Utah? That's a cheeky little spot. That's a cheeky one. Maybe we're going to be the LA guys tonight. Is anyone playing the Kings? We could do a little man, they got Kuzmenko now too. Holy shit. Kuzmenko's on his 47th team. We could do a little like Kempe Kopitar action. Oh, nice. AJ scrolling to Mikko Rantanen. I saw that ADP and I was like, what's going on here? See what Hefty does. Takes Gensel. Son of a bitch. Damn it. All right, we're going to take Braden Point. We're going to stack up this line. We wanted we wanted the GM Gensel fall, but we're not going to do it. So we got Braden Point going in here. Who are the top 10s for the night here, guys? Show me what's up with the top 10s. All right, we're back up here. The blue liners are flying out here. We could still do the Hedman thing. Suzuki. Let's do Jordan Kyrou. I like Jordan Kyrou. Let's get Jordan Kyrou in here. He scores goals. He fills it up. He's got like a 29 ADP. Let's get him in here. And then we can stack up a line mate. Like we could do like Rob Thomas. But that might be a little too chalky for your boy. We could do something like Josh Morrissey and Kyle Connors. Like we could do something like that. Anaheim, interesting. Okay, AJ's showing off right now. Stacking up McTavish. Mason McTavish there. He's showing off. Showing off for the stream. Our guy AMAC in here. What's Andrew? Andrew's going a little Montreal. Ale Montreal. What else we got? Oh, we get sniped on Hedman. He's doing the double defense lineup. Hefty sniping us. Dylan Holloway. Dude almost died on the bench this year. He almost died on the bench this year. And now he's like a top pick on a 9-game slate. All right, let's go Kempe. He's hot right now. Get that Utah matchup. So we got a Tampa Bay 2-man. We got Kyrou. We got Kempe. So we got to scroll the F down for our defenseman here. And we probably want to stack them, right? We want to stack up our D-man. Justin Falk, PP1. He might be PP2 now. This Clark guy. You guys remember when we did the Best Puck Classic stuff? The boys were talking me into this Brent Clark guy. Has he panned out this year? I don't think so. Should have gone Sanderson at D. We don't want that chalk, man. We don't want that chalk. We're scrolling. Everyone's going to be playing Sanderson. His ADP is too high for me. Actually, he's ADP. All right. He's 13. Okay. I apologize. I'll give it to you. Is there positive correlation in blocked shots? He's blocking Braden Point's shots. All right, guys. Who should I take at the Tendy? All right. Vasilevsky is in. He's in here. Should we go with this? Oh, yeah. Drew Doughty's back. We could have gone Doughty on this team. We'll take Vazzy for sure. Get this Tampa Bay stack going on. Expected to start Thursday. Let's do it. Vasilevsky's in here. Braden Point, Cooch Daddy, Jordan Kyrou, Kempe, Justin Falk, Vasilevsky in net. Not bad. Not as scrolly as I intended. Not as scrolly as I intended. But yeah. AMAC. Cole Caulfield, Kyle Connor. 7 snipes combined tonight. 7 snipes. Book it, he says. 7 snipes. Kyle Connor. Never thought I'd see the day. 31 ADP. Why, guys? Why? Why is he buried like this? Someone tell me why. I'm but a simple man with a peanut-sized brain. Why is he buried so far? Let's see here. Here, guys. For my guys in the puck streets. Let's see if it's updated or not. It doesn't look updated. Last night. Okay, never mind. I'm going to share you guys. No idea why he's buried. Take him a lot. Seems good. Seems good. All right, guys, let's tie a bow on it there. Appreciate you. Consider becoming members, signing up. Cup of coffee a month to support the show. Consider signing up at Unabated. Promo code BADGE at sign up. Some of the best projections in the game. Some of the best pick'em intel in the game. I showed you guys their win rate, or I told you about their win rate on their prop stuff already this year. Let me see here. You just go ahead and find something real quick for you guys. There you go. There you go. You don't even have to just trust me. You can read it for yourselves. 30 minutes before tip, an 8.2% ROI. At first release, an 8.6% ROI on their prop stuff. Assuming 1 unit size of $100, up 63,000, up 71,000. The projections speak for themselves, guys. It's big league out here. It is big league out here. And you get a nice discount courtesy of the Badge Bros at sign up there with promo code badge. Link in the bio below. All right. Back tomorrow, maybe with Nez, maybe without. At the very least, I'll break down at least one of the sports tomorrow. If you guys are on the X side, please consider hopping on over to the YouTube side. Give it a like, a subscribe, a notification bell, all that fun stuff. It is so trivial, and I don't say it enough, but it goes so far for us in terms of reachability and just eyeballs on the platform. Tell your friends. Tell your friends to play on Underdog Fantasy and to check out the Badge Bros unfiltered advice every single day how to play these games. All right, guys, best of luck tonight, whether it be the baseball streets, the puck streets, or the hoop streets. Go check out Set the Screen Unabated show now. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.